Fine. How are you, ma'am?
I'm well, thank you.
And say what you said. We're recording now. At first we wasn't.
Okay. I
Tell
was
her what you were
saying
saying.
that as a children are so innocent, and as a child you look up to your parents, especially little boys who look up to their dad to teach them how to be a man, and daddy, that's my hero. What happened to you in your life that makes you want to do that to your own child? Um,
Yeah, that's a question. We were having that conversation earlier, and it's like I would love to know what goes on. So in the story, we twisted it and put it under a mental illness, so to speak. Um, but not to say that that can be a reason why someone does it. Like, I would love to know why someone would think that that's appropriate to do to any child, let alone your own flesh and blood.
exactly.
That's something that I definitely want to spend more time researching. Like, I do offer workshops for victims, but I also want to be able to work with people that deal with this, because it's like, what happened in your life for you to do this? Because it could have been something that happened to them. They never addressed it, so they believe this is the only way to deal with it as an adult. Well, it happened to me and nobody helped me and nobody said anything, so it can't be wrong. So maybe they need help as well to know that it's not appropriate. It's not right.
Definitely not. But also, it's an emotional little book, and
Hmm.
you just, and it happens every day. And for those kids who have no one to tell, who have no one to talk to, and you just wonder sometimes when you see kids acting out, especially like little boys, and you like, oh, he's just a bad kid, or he has no home training. You don't know the situation, whether it's a little boy or a little girl. Um, why do girls go out there and become prostitutes? We don't
Mm-hmm.
know what happened in their lifetime. You know, I mean, it's just, at least he had someone to tell, which I love that. He had someone in the neighborhood who he trusted, who he could go talk to. It was like a safe place for him to go. And it's like you have kids out there who don't have that, and it's sad because they're told not to tell. Like, this is our secret, and if you tell, it's going to upset mommy or it's going to upset daddy. So as a child, what do? And this is your parent that's doing this to you, so you're supposed to trust your parents. They're supposed to be your protectors.
I know I was
um,
like talking to my grandson, and I was telling him that when people say secret, we need to redefine the word secret when we're talking in this aspect. And I said, if someone touches you here and there and says it's a secret, that means it's bad. It's not a secret. Don't keep it as a secret. And I felt like, wow, here I am talking about the word secret, and it is used recklessly.
Hmm.
So, in a sense of that, when you, with your organization or you as a personal person, Michelle, how do you uh, depict or pick it apart, that word secret, in your studies, or if there's something new with me talking about it when they use the word secret?
No, it's absolutely not new. And coming from a mentoring background, that is something that we stress to our mentors, to our children, to our parents. and they have to know that no adult should tell you that something is a secret.
Mhm.
And for the mentor, the child should not tell you, I need you to keep this a secret. I mean, there's some things that you can have confidential. Oh, you like a little boy, you like a little girl, you're not comfortable telling your parent about it yet. That's fine. But when you get to the point where something is happening to you and you're asking someone to keep that a secret, that is a dangerous combination.
Mhm.
So putting that up there up front, there are no secrets. If there's something that's going to hurt you, we need to be open and talk about it. Who do you trust? And that's one of the things I tried to point out in this book. It's just a matter of trust, because it's an old saying and everyone says it, but it is 100% true. People really don't care what you know until they know that you care. So no matter how many times you're talking and talking and talking to kids, they have people in and out of their lives every day, all day, for whatever reasons. So they don't really need another adult to come along and try to act like they care. You know, they
Mhm.
want to know that no matter what I'm going through, no matter what I'm doing, this person is going to be there. Once they trust you, they will come and talk to you. But the point is, we have to learn, how do we gain their trust? Because we just automatically believe kids are supposed to respect us and they're
Mhm.
supposed to trust us. But no, we don't just automatically respect people. We don't just automatically trust them. It's a learned process. They gain that over time. And we have to realize that kids are the same way, especially when you have kids that come from different backgrounds where they may not have a stable household. They have a lot of things going on with them. They have a stepdad this month, and then 2 months later, he disappears.
Mhm.
Or, mom is here now, and then she just throws in a towel and runs off. So, where do they find that trusted adult? I mean, our kids are dealing with so much today than I think I ever had to deal with as a child. And I thought my childhood was bad. But there's things that these kids go through that I believe an average adult probably wouldn't be able to handle it today.
Mm.
And that's the things that we don't realize. They're put in adult situations at an early age. They're taking care of the younger siblings. They're getting a job at an earlier age to help with the household. They have to be little adults. And a lot of us probably had to do that too, but
Mhm.
not in this type of society where it's super easy to go left just like that. So the goal is, how do we help these kids stay focused and stay positive even in the midst of?
I have some, there's some messages on the board, and I'll start where it says parents need to listen to their children and watch their moods. They are sick individuals. Even with our boys, you have to tell them, don't let any of them put their hands on you. One of my friend's son told his mother what the little boy did or was trying to do, or give them hush money or hush toys, etc. Your actions speak. And then there's another one. Thank you for being strong enough to talk and write about this subject. Each voice helps someone in ways you may never know.
Absolutely. And that's the goal. That's the goal. We just want to help. That's the bottom line. It's not to try to make people feel some kind of way. It's not to make the people who do this, want to get uptight. Get help. Get help and realize that this is not appropriate. These children are hurting, and if they don't get help, if they don't have a voice for them, they're gonna continue the cycle.
There's a message that said, I worry about children in foster home.
I do too. I do too. And those are the ones that, if I could spend every ounce of my time just with, even if it's 10, just a small group, just to show them that, a lot of times kids feel that if a person is not in their nucleus, then they don't really care about them. But there are good people in the world. And when all those good people come together, we'll be surprised at what we can produce, the types of lives that we can change just by being supportive, by showing up. that's what's important. Just showing up in a kid's life is so important, and especially if they're going through something like this.
I've heard of cases where the person was like had a friend. I see your hand, Sonia. I'll come with you. Had a friend, and the friend told about what was going on, and the friend got destroyed for telling the truth about what was going on with that person.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of very similar to where you have that domestic violence. You know, do you say something or do you not? Because if you say something, you're going to be attacked. If you don't say something, you're going to be attacked. So it's such a slippery slope. It's so hard to try to figure out the happy medium in these situations, and I still haven't figured it out. And I pray that one day there'll just be an aha moment where it's like, yep, this is what we do, and then the world will be beautiful again. But it's so hard because everybody is so different, you know? So you just never know what you're going to get. You never know. Like, I never know what the reactions are going to be when people are reading this book. But this book was inspired by someone who saw my short film and requested it. Well, can you write
Wow.
about this? Can you write about that? Can you write about this? And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, I was not comfortable writing this book at all. It took a lot out of me, and I had to do a lot of praying because I was like, Lord, I do not want to get into this, but I could not do it. You know, if you have someone that's requesting something, in my opinion, they're doing it for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they needed something, and they needed to figure out what's the best way to go about it. And if you can come to me and ask me to do that, then I'm humbled and I'm honored. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that we can make it happen. But I struggled a lot because like I said, it's easy for me to write about what I've been through because I've been through it. But to write about something like this, and at the time that it came to me, it was very, very difficult.
It's very powerful. Go ahead, Sonia.
I wanted
Sonia,
to
you had your hand
ask,
raised.
yes, I wanted to ask, do you believe that children who are molested that young, whether by a parent, by a sibling, um, do you believe that causes them to start having sexual experience at an early age?
I will say, me, as in taking your question, what do I believe? I would say yes, because they don't really know how to express themselves or deal with what has occurred to them, and they think that that's the only way to do it. I would say yes, because that might be their coping mechanism.
How? It's
And again, I don't want people to think that I'm like a licensed doctor who is giving advice to people to go off and do certain things. I'm giving information from a person who has heard a lot, done a lot, saw a lot, and want to help a lot. So I want to make sure that that's really clear. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I believe if people go through certain situations, then that's how they cope because they haven't learned anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, I've also heard where people, like you're saying, and well said, we're not saying that we're any type of psychiatrist or anything here, but where they use sex as a weapon of control. Now
Hmm.
that they've been hurt, and it for that person is intimacy, for them is control.
Yeah, that is true, and a lot of people can use that in that manner. And for me, um, I was the type of person who was not interested in sex. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school where my friends are talking about things that are going on, and I'm looking at them like, what are you talking about? And I also believe that at the time in my life when I did have sex, it wasn't really because I wanted to. It was kind of like you're kind of getting old and everybody else has done it already. What are you waiting for? And that's
wow.
how I felt in my brain. Yeah, and it wasn't a very enjoyable thing for me. And I don't
Understand.
know why that is. But for some people, when they are experiencing things at an early age, and it may not be an enjoyable thing for them either, but it's just a learned behavior. So it's just something you do. So if you know that this is what's going to make your boyfriend or girlfriend happy, you go through the motion. And I spent a lot of years going through the motions. And it's just like, there's got to be a better way. And I felt like I missed my opportunity to be a nun. But that is what I probably would have been so happy just being a nun. But I knew I wanted 2 kids. So I was like, man, I got to do it because I want my kids, but it wasn't, But I was a very different creature. And I think it was because of my abuse was very different, so when you're dealing with emotional abuse, when you're dealing with self-esteem issues, when you're being bullied, you just see things totally different. So my coping mechanism was alcohol at a very early age, and that's how I dealt with it. And so I would shut the whole world out. I was drinking in school, and a lot of people didn't know what I went through until they read A Child's Prayer. And it's like, wow, I didn't know that you were going through all that, because I hid it. I stayed under the radar, because it's like, well, you don't want social services coming to your house, so you better do what you got to do. Just barely make it. Don't start no trouble in school. Don't give them a reason to want to come to your house. So that was me, like that very under the radar type of person. And then when I became an adult, I was just a very angry person. Wow. So I had to find a happy medium.
Another question here that was here, it said, I worry about the children in foster care. I experienced it from one foster dad and an adopted dad. No penetration, but pure hell, no happy teen life. Was it therapy for you? I would say yes and no.
So is the question, writing, is that therapy for me? Absolutely. Because if not, I would probably be in the nut house, because I'm one of those people with pride that I probably need to sit to the side. And it's like, well, I don't want to go to counseling because I don't want to, rehash things and do what I, relive things that I've tried to get over. But when you realize that you can't get over things until you fully get it out of your system, every day that I'm able to share my story with someone, that is my therapy, because it helps me help someone else. So it's absolute therapy for me, yes.
Go ahead, Sonia.
If this happened to you as a child and you repress those memories, but as an adult, you start having these memories, you knew something happened to you when you were a child by family member or whoever, and you can't quite figure it out, but you knew you started your sexual experience at a very young age. I mean, before you're a teenager. The memory is there, but you're not quite sure what happened, but you know something happened. And you want to know what happened. But then again, you don't want to know, because it's like you pressed those memory as a child. You knew something wasn't right. You knew by when you started being sexually active, let's say age 9 and stuff, you're like, age 9, little girls should not be thinking about stuff like that at that age. You should be playing with dolls and stuff like that. And then as an adult, as you move on in your life, you have all these sexual activities with these men, and you have no reason, you have no idea why you're doing it. But then something will kind of hit you one day that, like, something happened to me, why I am the way I am and why I'm doing these things. And it was like Michelle was saying, it's like, how do you even begin to cope with that as an adult? Because the memory's there, you just can't fully understand like what happened. You kind of know the person that did it to you, but you don't want to be like, oh yeah, because you can't remember everything. You just kind of repress it. So it's just like it's something that's very difficult to deal with as an adult.
Wow. Michelle, this is something that I just kind of put your way. Um, have you ever experienced where someone came to you and was lying on their parents because they wanted their way? How can you tell the difference between someone lying and someone it actually happened to?
For me, I have not experienced that yet. Maybe in the aspect of like the physical abuse where you're you're getting in trouble for a reason, but you're blowing it up bigger than what it is. So if your parents spanked you and you're saying your parent strangled you, or your parent left bruises on you and things like that, when you're a mandated reporter, you have to make that call. So if I'm making that call, it's because I'm going by the information that I'm given, and then that's when you have to let it play out, basically. So I guess to answer your question, there's never been an allegation that I didn't take seriously. I've never had a child come to me and just flat out say, um, my mom or dad touched me, or my uncle or cousin touched me, or something like that. They they kind of say different things. Like they'll say, well, what would happen if um, someone had a cousin that touched them? What do you think the kid is supposed to do? So it's like they're asking in a third party
Yeah.
way. And then you just have to kind of outsmart them, so to speak, just to figure out if it's actually them. And then you just let them know, well, that they really should, find somebody that they can talk to so that they can get some help. Is that something that you want to visit? Is that something that you want to talk about? And as you notice in the book, Miss Ella didn't just say, come on here, let's go to your house and get this taken care of. The question was, would you like me to help you? And that's
Yeah.
something that we have to learn,
Yes.
because they have to want to get help, because you can drag them down there. And then when they get there, just like a show monkey, when they get in front of a person, they're not going to put on their show now because they're not prepared. So they have to want to do it. So you have to make sure that they're in a safe space and in their right mind, and they're going to say, yes, I want to get help. Can you help me?
That was beautiful. The bathroom scene. Hate to give it away, but I have to talk about that. That felt so real. I was
Mhm.
mad. I had to put the book down. I had to think. I was like, I'm feeling those feelings again. The bathroom scene. Let's
Yes.
talk about that.
That came from just trying to visualize things that happen, stories that kids would possibly tell, but to be able to do it in a way where it wasn't extremely overwhelming, just enough for you to know where this could have gone and how this is affecting this child. And something as simple as someone just speaking up, like the guy in the bathroom is like, hey, what's going on in there?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't do that. Again, you have that silent thing. You hear a child being spanked, you hear a child being popped, you hear a child saying, oh, ouch, no, whatever it is, and we kind of just nix it off without trying to investigate it. So it was designed to just make people aware, just
Mm-hmm.
just making people aware. And I think we may have the audio.
Okay.
So if we do,
Let's
I'll be able to play it for you guys, just so you can.
go ahead and ask some questions, and I will be right back. I'm sorry. Go ahead and talk, and I'm looking forward to getting that audio.
Does anyone else have any questions or any comments?
I'm doing an interview. I can
It is so sweet.
thank you. Looks good, like a brand new car. Wow. Okay. It's like a brand new car. Okay.
Okay,
Gosh.
I'm gonna put the audio on.
All right. I'm sorry, guys. The guy detailed our car and he looks like a brand new show flow car. Okay, guys. We get to hear this audio.
Just put it on.
Part 2. Daddy's love. No child deserves to have their childhood taken away from them. You do have a voice. You do matter. Hi, my new friend. My name is Gary. I have a secret to share with you. Would you like to hear it? Thanks. I really need to tell someone. I am so happy that you are willing to listen to me. Today, I went to the park with my dad. We had so much fun. After we left the park, we went to grab some ice cream. The ice cream was so good, but I made a big mess. My dad took me to the bathroom to get all cleaned up. The first thing he did was make me pull down my pants. I knew I was in trouble then. Before I knew it, he pulled down his pants too. But luckily someone came in the bathroom and my dad got nervous. My heart was beating so fast. All I could say was, I promise not to make a mess next time. Please don't touch me there again, Daddy. Have you ever felt scared like that before? I bet you are wondering what happened next, right? Well, before I could finish talking, there was a knock on the bathroom door. Open this door right now, came from a man shouting. What is going on in there? Are you okay in there? My dad covered my mouth so that I could not speak. He slowly opened the bathroom stall door and we walked out. My dad was standing in front of me. Everything is fine, my dad said. My son and I were just playing a cleanup game. He spilled ice cream all over his clothes, and there's nothing to worry about here. The man looked at me. I looked at the floor. And the man slowly walked away, looking back with every step he took. I wanted to say something so bad, but I was too afraid. My dad told me not to tell my mom about this. He said it was our little secret. When I got home, I did not say a word about what happened in that bathroom. Instead, I asked my mom if I could go outside and play. All of my friends were outside, and I wanted to ride my bike with them. My mom said yes, and not soon enough. I rushed to get my helmet and went outside. I rode my bike as fast as I could. I was going to Mrs. Ella's house. Mrs. Ella is the neighborhood grandmother. She has a safety sticker on her window, which lets all the kids know that they can come and talk to her about anything. She had lots of toys, games, and fun stuff in her yard for the kids to play with. the street. And she always told us, if you ever get into trouble, you come and find me. Do you have a Mrs. Ella in your neighborhood? Well, I'm pretty sure this was trouble. What do you think? When I got to the house,
So I was trying to stop it and I couldn't, I couldn't find it. So what we were doing, we wanted to make the story come to life. And when I heard you talk about your grandson, and I was saying, so with his voice and, you know, being able to say it in a kid manner, and he's asking questions to them so that they can hear it in an effort to have that dialogue. So the purpose of putting it in the audio format is to be able to use it in those group discussions or even those one-on-one discussions with kids, so that they're seeing Gary as their friend. So I'm going to tell you my story, and then I'm going to give you time to tell me your story, and then we're going to go and find you some help. So this way the kids can hear it from a kid's standpoint. And then the hope and the prayer is that it makes them more comfortable to want to share their story.
That was phenomenal.
So I just wanted to give you guys a little
glimpse. All they needed was that little piece, those first 2-3 pages, or it was wonderful. You guys get to see it. Our time has been well spent, and you're going to get both of these audio. We'll send you both. And we really appreciate you coming here. Again, Arthur, Michelle, this has been great. And we thank you for coming, and those that are here. This is our next book that is coming up, The Very Loving Caterpillar. Hopefully you guys could come on. And also, I'm Ellen Sudduth of ESP Presents, where we bring page turners your way. There's going to be some more shows coming up. And then we have our sponsor, that is Show Off Tees. I'd like to give a shout out to him, and he's on Facebook under Show Off Tees. And we thank you guys for coming. You will get that audio. And those that are on here, please email me your email address to mrssuds@yahoo.com. That's MRSSUDDS@yahoo.com. We have a gift to give you guys. So I'll send those email addresses to Miss Michelle. And everybody that's on here, I see Wendy, Sonia, and if LGK20 plus, if you heard my email address, please email me your name, your email address. And again, it's mrssuds@yahoo.com. That's MRSSUDDS@yahoo.com. Thank you guys for joining us. And then also, this is our book of the month for I know it may look backwards there, but it's our book of the month for August, and it's called Shalit Bride. And this is a story about Adam and Eve. It is as if we're putting Adam and Eve on trial. This is a good book. So did Adam protect her or not? Was he there when the serpent came along? We shall find out.
Sounds good.
It's centered in the Genesis, the 3rd chapter. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you all for being on here. Please email me, and good night. And if you guys, would you do me a favor and like our business page, which is ESP Presents, and like our business page. And there's a discussion there. Let us know how you enjoy this phenomenal chat we had. And that video was that audio was something else. So if you could put the something there and let us know. We're going to go to Facebook now, and I'll go on there and we can chat there. Take care, guys. Thank you. Oh, there's a hand. Okay, go ahead. I have to unmute you. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. Lower hand, what does that mean for me? Okay, go ahead.
I could hear you.
Oh, great.
No, I was just saying good night.
Oh, good night. Make sure you have
and let us see you on Facebook.
Okay, We're going now.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.